All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Game On Dota 2 Invitational. I am so excited. This is the grand finals, and it's brought to you by Dota 2 Lounge and Azubu. What an amazing tournament we've had so far. Alternate Attacks have been fighting it out with a perfect 0-2 record throughout the entire tournament. Finem powering through their enemies with some flawless communication, some super intense plays. I'm Cygnus, your caster for today, and I am joined by the wonderfully talented Android. Hello, Android!
Hi, I'm kind of sick, but it's okay because I'm really excited to cast this grand finals with you. This is going to be a best of 3 grand finals, which is a little bit unorthodox, but that means there's just more on the line for every single game. The prize pool for this is going to be a total of $2,000 US, so it's $1,500 for the winner and $500 for the second place. So both teams not going to be walking home empty-handed, but still, you want to come in first. You want that extra money. You want the title of the absolute winner of this tournament. And for those of you who are joining us in chat, don't forget to follow and subscribe, as we'll be doing a giveaway right after the game. You can follow us here on Azubu or on Twitter at itsgameongg.
Awesome, and thank you so much, Anne. I appreciate you being here, and it's been an absolute pleasure so far to be casting with you. I'm so happy you're here with me for these grand finals. And just so you guys know, each team has really been putting their best foot forward in this tournament. I mean, I am so looking forward to these games. I know they're going to be great. I am really hoping that we were going to see some Finem Chen, but it looks like Team Alternate Attacks are on top of that stuff, and they have already banned that out. However, Invoker still has not been banned out, so maybe we'll see some Supreme Invoker, maybe some OD. Both these heroes, they're really, really flashy. I'm just so excited. So here we go. Finem, they have opted to ban out the Lone Druid, which I think is the proper choice against Team Alternate Attacks. We have just seen how powerful the Lone Druid is so far in this meta. Surprisingly, actually hasn't shown his face in this tournament so far, which is pretty interesting, but I think he's pretty much been banned out in like 100% of the games. So he's not going to be showing his face. Then, as mentioned, Team Alternate Attacks are going to be banning out the Chen. That's really the right choice against SSA Spartan. SSA Spartan plays an absolute insane Chen. We've seen it pulled out twice during this tournament, and both times those were very convincing wins. So you're not going to risk giving SSA Spartan one of his best heroes, which is going to be that Chen. Then Finem going to be banning out the Witch Doctor, which may be an indication that they really are going to be trying to go for a team fighting lineup, because let's be honest, Witch Doctor, he's a really great counter team fighter. You throw out that cast, you have a Death Ward going down, and maybe they suspect Team Alternate Attacks also wanting to pick up the offlane Faceless Void, so it's a really great choice to ban that out, just to maybe slightly de-incentivize the choice of the Faceless Void, but we'll see if that actually works out for Finem. And last but not least, in our first phase bans, we have the Io, which I am happy to see banned out. Io, just one of these heroes, that global presence. You can pair him up with a lot of really great carries, such as Tiny, Sven, even Gyrocopter, and he just offers a lot of great support and ganking opportunities, so we are going to see him being banned out. So what do you think so far, Anne? Are you pretty happy with those bans?
I'm pretty happy with the bans. Not so sure how I feel about the Earth Spirit pickup, just because he's one of those heroes that he's either going to take off and be really, really useful roaming around securing kills, but he could also just flop. And you mentioned that offlane Void, well, we're going to see it picked up right here. They're not discouraged by the loss of the Witch Doctor.
I'm very happy to see this. I mean, OD and Faceless Void are a great opening combination for your for the second pick. Alternate Attacks, they're going to just pick up both of those at the same time. And let's take a look at these first phase picks. So Finem picking up the Earth Spirit for SSA Spartan. Then it will be most likely, maybe next time, going to be playing on the Bane. I'm pretty happy with these. We've seen SSA Spartan putting crazy amounts of pressure on the mid laner with this Earth Spirit before. It worked out once, didn't work out so much a second time. So we're going to see whether or not it's going to be as big of a presence in this game as it was in previous games. Team Alternate Attacks are going to pick up the Outworld Devourer for Supreme, and I'm so excited for this. The last time that Supreme played Outworld Devourer, he went 18-1 it was an absolute stomp. The Sanity's Eclipse were just taking out the supports with no problems. You didn't even need to right-click them. And Faceless Void being paired up with OD, also very big fan of this combination. It's super powerful. It just allows OD to steal pretty much as much int as he would like. It also is a great setup for the Sanity's Eclipse, as long as the Faceless Void is getting good Chronospheres, at least 3 or 4 heroes inside of it. Alright, so we're going to be in our second phase bans here. We have Vengeful Spirit, Oracle being banned out by aTTaX, and then Team aTTaX going to be banning out the Viper and the Nature's Prophet. I'm a pretty big fan of the Viper ban. I think that was the right choice. Finem really love running Viper against strong laners such as Outworld Devourer. So how do you feel about those bans?
I think they're pretty solid. One thing that... Oh my gosh, my voice is really going now. One thing that they didn't ban out that I think we could potentially see is a carry Mirana.
Oh yes, the carry Mirana. So Team aTTaX have played the Mirana before. Now, they have always pretty much paired the Mirana up with the Nature's Prophet, so I don't know if we're going to see aTTaX pick her up, but they do have decent setup. Bane Mirana, super strong. On top of that, I mean, yeah, SSA Spartans Mirana was just off the charts good, but it looks like they're going to be picking up a Beastmaster, which I think will be filling in that role. I think that's a really strong pickup. Beastmaster with the Necro Book going to be able to punish the towers, and also just be able to lock down OD, Faceless Void maybe inside their Chronosphere, if he is outside of it, obviously. Strong laner as well, going to be able to pick up that CS and be able to avoid harassment or being ganked. I'm pretty happy with that. And also Team aTTaX playing their kind of main mid laner very close to their chest. They haven't picked up anyone yet. So we're going to see that in the later drafts. However, Team aTTaX picking up the Abaddon. We haven't seen an Abaddon so far in this tournament. I'm really a big fan of the Apothic Shield. I think that it's the good choice. It's going to be able to purge off the Bane Nightmare. It's able to really just mitigate a little bit of damage coming out from potentially the Earth Spirit from the Magnetize. It's also able to purge off of the Primal Roar, I believe, from the Beastmaster. It's just one of these great skills, and definitely going to be an Abaddon support. Alright, and then we have the Wind Ranger being picked up by aTTaX. It looks like they are definitely going to be dedicating themselves to a very gank-heavy lineup. We're going to see Wind Ranger, tempo controlling pretty significantly. Beastmaster, Necro Book, Blink Dagger, big initiations. Bane's going to be able to lock down, OD, the Gyrocopter, which I think is a great pickup by aTTaX. But Team aTTaX have picked up a tier 1 pick here, which is going to be the Gyrocopter. Now, surprisingly, Invoker is still in the pool, and I'm wondering if that's going to be the final pickup by aTTaX, but Team AA could ban this out.
They could ban it out, but they might also just let them have it. It might be one of those strategies that are saying, you know what? Pick what you want. We can counter it better than you can play it.
I'm surprised that Invoker's made it through. I'm wondering, though, you don't really want to safe lane a Wind Ranger. You kind of want her mid. So, yeah, I don't think we're going to see the Invoker, but he's such a good pickup. Alright, so Team aTTaX are going to ban out the Anti-Mage, which I think is a safer ban. Team aTTaX know that aTTaX really do need a strong safe laner, and I wouldn't be surprised if maybe we see... I would like to see maybe a Fighting Spectre, because you can get that phase boots, the drums... Early fight, get Haunt level 6. I'm just not sure if it's a good choice against the OD, the Faceless Void.
I thoroughly disagree. I think a Spectre would be a really big misplay here. She needs a lot of safe farm, she needs a lot of space, but I'm thinking maybe a Sven.
Oh, you know what? Yeah, Sven would be really good. He can fight really well into this lineup. The Beastmaster, follow up with the Storm. Yeah, you're right. The Sven actually would be really good. Alright, so Team aTTaX, they're going to be going into their last pick. It's most likely going to be a support, and so that's why aTTaX have banned out the Shadow Shaman. It's going to limit their push power, and now they're just going into their reserve time in about 10 seconds. What do you think is the pick here? Are we going to see maybe something more traditional like a Dazzle, or are we going to see something else coming out?
Reserve time.
Just looking at the recent pickups, I'm thinking we could see something a little bit quirkier. I know they've been known to pick AA. Have it run there by Robert G9, but we're going to see a Lion. I really like the support. All around, great utility.
Absolutely. You know, the Hex and the Stun, it's going to be great for roaming as well. The range on his Earth Spike is insane. Pick yourself up an Aether Lens, and you have a very strong and scary support who pretty much doesn't need all that much farm beyond that. So I'm pretty happy to see Team AA pick up that Lion as their final support, and the pressure is on for SSA Spartan to make the right choice. So we were thinking Sven in this lineup. Is there any others that you can think of that might be a good choice?
I think pretty much any big, beefy guy with a reliable stun would be fantastic. So maybe even a Luna, although that one's really, really pocket, as she needs so much space just to let herself farm. I could see an Ursa working, but again, really situational, depends on how much they practiced it. I don't think a Tiny would be the play here, just because he needs a babysitter, and Bane doesn't make the best babysitter, but, you know, anything's really possible with that Earth Spirit pickup.
Yeah, it's very true. I was actually thinking, oh, it's going to be an Ember Spirit. I actually really like this, yeah. Alright, so, ladies and gentlemen, there's our draft for game number 1 between Team Finem and Team aTTaX. Let's get this started. There we go. No jail time this time, folks. Alright, and while we're waiting for everyone to pick up their heroes, don't forget, guys, to give us a follow on Azubu, give us a follow on Twitter. We will be doing some pretty big giveaways after this is over. So, hopefully, you know, at least, I'm going to say I want to see 3 games. But I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, just give us a Twitter follow on @GameOnGG. And we're just waiting for Bane to pick up this hero. There we are. Alright, so we are ready to go.
Prepare for battle.
Oh, my configs are not working, so our my camera's gonna be a little bit not as pretty today. At least for this first game. Alright, so ladies and...
Your camera will match my voice.
Alright, so ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna start this off with the opening items, and then we'll do our introductions real quick. So, we have... Is there anything really that sticks out here? Madara is going to be going for a Stout Shield. Is that going to be an indication of a safe laning Ember? Yeah, it looks like it will be.
He wants to play aggressively, and he wants to just make sure he can stay in lane and get farm, so he doesn't have to constantly get sent back to base for a couple hits.
Alright, so ladies and gentlemen, let's do our introductions. I will start with the Radiant. So we have Nisha, going to be playing that off-lane Faceless Void. Meanwhile, at the bottom rune, we are going to have our Abaddon, going to be played by Dimitri. We have Supreme, going to be playing the Outworld Devourer. We have Robert G, going to be playing the Lion, and we have Exotic Deer, who will be playing the Gyrocopter. Meanwhile, on the Dire, we have...
On the Dire.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, sorry, I just wanted to save your voice.
The battle begins.
It's all yours.
Alright, so on the Dire, we have maybe next time playing the Bane. We have the good old... Oh my goodness, who is this? It's, oh well, semicolon, on the Windrunner. We have SSA Spartan, going to be playing the Earth Spirit in the safe lane. We do have Madara, who will be playing the Ember Spirit. And last but not least, we have Skylark, who will be playing the off-lane Beast Master. So we are going to be starting this off with some pretty strong lanes. But where's the emphasis, Annie? Where... For the laning phase, is it going to be on ATN to have to win all their lanes, or is it AF who can play? Has to make sure to pretty convincingly win these. Oh! Robert G, they're going for first blood. It's going to happen. Uses the Fairy Fire, and there we go. There will be a healing salve. It won't be enough, so first blood will be delayed just for a little bit longer, but really well done. Alright, there.
Pause here. I think
Quick
the action's going to be concentrated down bottom. You were saying, you know, where are we going to look for the blood? Well, it's down here. We've got a lot of stuns, a lot of disables, a lot of damage being able to spray out.
Alright, so it is going between the two. Robert just trying to zone Skylark a little bit. His boar is down for just a little while, so can't really secure very much. CS does have his Whirling Axes. Earth in place. Meanwhile, we do have Windrunner just a little bit on the run. The support, Abaddon just putting out an aTTaX shield. Meanwhile, we're continuing to see, there's the Earth Spike. Exotic Deer just pumping out a little bit of damage with Skylark. Now Hexed. A couple more right clicks, but there will be Spartan on top of Robert G once again going in, but will also be able to escape. Nisha taking quite a bit of damage in this top lane. Lane pushed forward a little bit by Madara. Looks like we will get a push or a pull there from the Bane. Alright, and just a pretty decent CS actually already coming out of Madara in the safe lane. Meanwhile, Supreme just getting a little bit of harassment out on the Windrunner, but not really as much as he would probably like. Oh, this is big. Earth Spirit has himself an invisibility rune. He's going to be able to pick up his level 2 in the mid most likely, and maybe potentially make a play on this OD.
The wages of fear.
Is there a sentry mid? No, there isn't. Oh, this is big. There it is. Oh, into the shackle. There will be a double lockdown. A little bit stacking, but there will be a stone going down. Heal from Abaddon. aTTaX shield coming out. Is it going to be enough? One more right click. Fairy Fire goes out. They really want this first blood. It's going to go to Supreme, but it will be returned by the Windrunner.
I'm fantastic.
And that's going to be first blood. Surprisingly not in the off lane. Annie, what does this mean for Supreme? Is this, domination? Oh, there it goes. Nightmare coming in, a couple good right clicks. Nisha trying to make a kill, but it will not happen. Madara taking 2 hits from that tower.
Down bottom.
Oh my goodness. And there's SSA Spartan trying to make a run for it, going on Exotic Deer. Exotic Deer trying to right click as fast as he can, but it looks like it's going to be down. Is it going to be a double kill for this? Fairy Fire comes out. Robert G also going to fall. Double kill for Skylark. This game already action-packed. My goodness, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, this is a very interesting start here. I think Finem are fine with it. They might want to slow down the pace just a little bit, but they do have heroes that benefit from a lot of early kills, so I don't think we ever talked about which draft we straight up prefer, but ATN, they've got a lot of damage potential, but they can't keep getting picked off like this.
It's very true. Now, AF, this is really where they are the strongest. In this very early laning phase, they're always so aggressive, and sometimes it really works out. So far, it really has been. And I think we're going to see Spartan try to get this 4-minute rune, and is he going to be the king of invisibility? What's it going to be? Oh, just a bounty this time. So action rune going on the Windrunner. It is going to be an arcane. Meanwhile, oh, SSA Spartan on the Abaddon. aTTaX shield comes out. Spartan with that Orb of Venom just getting a little bit more harassment. There also is a boar just paired up with him. Supreme does make a slight rotation and is going to come out of lane. Windrunner going to be able to pick up a little bit of extra CS, but they're 19 and 19 neck and neck. However, Madara just CSing a little bit better than this Gyro. And of course, this Gyro does have a death on him.
Yeah, we're going to see a rotation here. SSA Spartan wants to find something. Right now, he's not scouted out. Is going to reveal himself to the Lion.
And Robert G making the right choice and just getting himself out of that danger. Meanwhile, in the top lane, we do have Faceless Void. He is sitting already at level 4, so he is doing fairly decently. And, you know, as we said, even if you die 1 or 2 times in this off lane, if you get a fast level 6, that's going to be pretty big for ATN. So that's really what they're banking on. And, oh, Supreme playing pretty aggressively, going in on the Windrunner. There will be a power shot, hearing some CS, but 12 intelligence stolen. And it looks like ATN are just pulling back a little bit, not playing as aggressively as they were after those initial little investments in, so at least an attempt at ganks, but just didn't really pay off for them. SSA does have a really aggressive ward coming out just over on the Radiant side, and he does scout out the stacks. Alright, so just continuing with the overall CS, let's just take a quick look. So, AF already leading the charts just a little bit. Is there any big items that are coming out? So Madara is going to go for a bottle, as is the Windrunner. Supreme also has a bottle of Nully on him. Good regen as well. Has himself a healing salve. Oh, what's happening here? Got a couple rotations. SSA. Oh my goodness, he is the king of invisibility. There it is. They scout out Robert G.
They're trying to bait him in with the board. What a really smart play, but he's not going to fall for it just yet. Robert G feeling like something's a little bit up.
There's no sentries down. But SSA, he has his eyes. There will be a pull. Is it going to be too dangerous to go in with this? Oh, there's the boar. SSA right on top there. There will be a rotation coming in from Windrunner. There to the level 6. Exotic Deer going to get shackled, and Robert G and Exotic Deer both going to be victims of this gank. Is he going to be able to escape? SSA has to roll himself out. Robert going to also survive heal, but the Lion will end up falling. Not optimal for the commitment of all the alts. But Abaddon right there on top of his game, making sure that he's protecting his carry, which is precisely what he did. Meanwhile, Supreme going to be able to catch up with that very important farm. Was that rotation from the Windrunner, was that worth it just for a support Lion?
I think it's not that bad. I think it gets more kills on the board, and Finem are going to snowball really well from that.
Yeah, Supreme is pretty much forced at this point just to continue farming in the mid lane. Is that the right move, or should Supreme... Oh, no. He's going to get himself locked down. There's the shackle. Is it going to be enough? A couple more right clicks. Another stun. And now OD will end up falling.
I'm dead, I'd shoot you again.
And our stats person on the board.
Is under attack.
And looks like Anne is going to be the...
I could still talk a little bit, but I sound super gross. Nisha might get initiated on here.
Oh?
Has the chrono. We haven't seen him spend the chrono yet, but Madara has the searing chains.
Yeah, alright, no worries. And you do the stats and give us all the cool infos on like timings and that sort of thing, and I'll take over for the play-by-play, so... Alright, so Nisha, low, there's the Chronosphere though, gets maybe next time. This might be bad for Madara, but there's gonna be rotations. Gets the Searing Chains off. Level 6, Nightmare coming out on Supreme. Oops. And there we go, maybe next time, making a run for it. There's the bash! He's still trying to make... Yeah, he will escape. No problems there. Nisha ends up pausing the game. So it looks like we might have some maybe tiny lag issues, but we'll see what ends up happening. So we're just waiting, but everyone escapes from that gank. Unfortunately, the Chrono did end up landing on top of the teleport rotation from Supreme. And maybe next time. Now level 4. Looks pretty good. And let's actually just take a quick look at the items so far coming out. So it is going to be a fast, looks like probably an Aghanim Scepter coming out on the Wind Ranger. Meanwhile, SSA still sitting no boots. And let's take a look at this Beastmaster. He is going to be rushing that Necro Book. So it looks like their AF is going to be going for the super fast, push down all the towers sort of build. I actually am a really big fan of this. I wouldn't be surprised if we see maybe a Desolator coming out actually on the Windrunner. And there will be a smoke coming out somewhere. I heard it. There it is. So they are going to end up seeing Exotic Deer by himself in the bottom, but it looks like it's going to be a rotation over towards the middle. Abaddon is hidden in the trees, and the aggressive ward is paying off. It looks like the Wind Ranger is going to try to take these stacks with no knowledge of the Radiant, or the Radiant have no knowledge of that, unfortunately. Meanwhile, Madara also catching up in his stacks. Will have a triple coming out to help catch him up, and let's actually swap over, oops, my camera. Let's swap over to the overall net worth. So it's going to be the Dire Cores sitting on the top. Exotic Deer just farming his heart out. Doesn't quite have like a Helm of Dominator or the Sanjanyasha, so we'll see what the build's going to be. I imagine, I think I would really like to see the Sanjanyasha. I think that would be probably the best choice. Alright, there's Beastmaster. Primal Roar is up. There is 3 in this Radiant jungle. And there will be a smoke. However, Lion does circle that, hey guys, there is a smoke. There was a defensive ward there, so they do end up spotting this out. It's whether or not the positioning is still going to be... Oh, there's a counter smoke. It does end up breaking. They ping on Skylark, and there's the Hex coming in. Earth Spike ends up hitting on the Windrunner. She's going to make a run for it. There's the Chrono, but Nisha's inside the trees. Is it going to be enough? 1 right click, 2 right clicks, and this Windrunner is going to get the shackle off. Is it going to be enough? No, she will end up falling. And that counter smoke definitely pays off. Meanwhile, Exotic Deer does fall to Madara and Skylark in the Radiant Jungle. So overall fight recap, let's see who comes out on top there. Oh, actually it doesn't show the Wind Ranger. I think it was about an equal trade, but certainly in the favor of ATN, just on the basis that the net worth and the XP is in their favor, not in their favor at the moment. Alright, and then we have SSA finally has his boots. 11 minutes in the game, but he's just playing this so aggressively, setting up all of these kills. And bottom tower will end up falling. There will be a rotation to the mid, and it looks like they want to disassemble this mid tower. Meanwhile, at the top, we still have Nisha just farming away. And we do now have the Radiant Jungle even more open than before, and the Dire were already kind of pushing themselves into that jungle pretty early without that tier 1. So this is a pretty bad situation for ATN to be in. Meanwhile, at the top, Exotic Deer and Robert are both smoked up. Smoke ends up breaking. But it's really just for maybe next time, who just hit level 6. And in the mid lane, there is Nabadan and the OD standing tall. A little bit of vision for the Wind Ranger. Should mention, Skylark doing his best to continue pushing out. His Necrobook is back up. So he's going to continue that onslaught on that tier 2. There's no rotations coming out from ATN. Robert will, and the Nisha will also pick up the TPs. Oh, there it is. Going on Exotic Deer. He's locked down for 2 seconds. There's the Searing Chains. Is he going to be able to fall? No, Skylark going to make a run for it. Robert G wanted to try to go for that Earth Spike, but just a little bit too much movement speed on Skylark, was able to get away. And really, they're just going to bring down this tower just above half health for pretty much nothing. There's no big counter ganks or anything like that. And meanwhile, Madara continuing to farm away. He has his Boots of Travel, so a little bit heavier on the greed side of things, but I think that's absolutely the right play, because what he's going to be able to do is just consistently farm, and then he can be present for all of these team fights. Now there will be a smoke underneath the tier 1 Finem tower, and they're going to make another rotation into that Radiant Jungle. Exotic Deer a little bit far up. Is his game sense going to help him out? He is heading back, but is it going to be fast enough? There it is, the shackle into a nightmare. They're going to try to do this. There's the brain sap, and do they need it? There will be a call down. And one more right click from the Wind Ranger will be able to secure that. And I feel like this might be a really big problem for ATN. Normally, you want to see Supreme snowballing super hard. As we said, last time that we saw him on the OD, he went 18-1. Absolutely dominated this game. We're not really seeing that at the moment. Hopefully this Rod of Atos will be that item that will really try to turn the tides. Also, don't forget Faceless Void. He's farming up quite nicely. We'll have his Vlads. Oh, there's the Searing Chains coming out on him. Reverses that damage. There's 4 at this top. And it looks like this tier 1 will be dismantled slowly with no real response from AF. They don't really want to engage on this. And meanwhile, they're going to trade tier 1. Wind Ranger going to pick up that Aegis of the Immortal. About 500 gold away from her Aghanim Scepter. Let's take a look at the next big items that are going to be coming out. So Battle Fury on Madara should be out pretty soon. Level 2 on the Necrobook coming out of Skylark. Meanwhile, Exotic Deer will be going for the Helm of the Dominator. And other than that, that's really the biggest item that will be coming out. Maybe Supreme will have his Rod of Atos for the next engagement, but let's take a look if he has anything in his stash. Nope, he's going to still be about 2k, about 1.2k gold away from that. Alright, so here we go. Tier 2 tower. Is there going to be a response from ATN? There's a siege creep, 2 boars pecking away at this tower. And Windrunner not dedicating her focus fire on this. No need to, really. Oh, Madara up top in the Chronosphere. Gonna get right click down. There will be a TP response. Will he be able to get? No. Finger of Death and the Sandy's Eclipse. They commit a lot to that kill, and that does mean that we are going to see AF continue their onslaught onto these tier 3s. Focus fire is up. Fresh Necrobook creep. Ready to do some tanking. There will be teleport responses, but remember, there's no Sandy's Eclipse. There will be a buyback coming out of Madara. Boots of Travel into the call down. There will be a Nightmare. Hits on all 5. Hits on Skylark. Atos coming out. There's going to be there's a Shackle on Exotic Deer and Supreme. This is so bad. The Magnetize is going to be ripping through the Madara lockdown. There will be the Abaddon ult. A heal coming out on Robert G. Time Walk, reversing some of that Supreme. Trying to make an escape for it, but will not. They will dedicate the Primal Roar to this. This tier 3 slowly being dismantled. Exotic Deer forced to buy back. Will shoot off a missile towards SSA Spartan. Meanwhile, this tier 3 still continuing to be sieged by AF. They do try to stop the rocket by Nightmaring SSA, but wasn't quite on time. And there's another heal. Earthspike coming out on maybe next time. SSA going in once again. Robert taken out by the Brain Sap. Meanwhile, we have our Wind Ranger. She's so close to death. They will get an urn on her. Time Dilation still out. Nisha sort of wants to go in. You can tell he's just contemplating it. No Chronosphere available. And this siege continues. 17 seconds until we have line. Are they just going to pull back? And that is going to be the case. There is an Aghanim Scepter and, of course, the Aegis of the Immortal, but why use it now when your Wind Ranger is so low? Just pull back, reset. It was an excellent engagement, and they forced the buyback on the Gyrocopter. That is absolutely huge. And does my stats person have any particular opinions? What went wrong with that particular engagement for ATN? Meanwhile, if we take a look at Roche, still very well before the Astral Imprisonment in the mid. TP rotation. SSA going in. There's the Bane. But no follow-up. The Vlad's helping out Outworld just a little. And there's another smoke coming out on the Wind Ranger. She's going to heal herself up. There it is. We're going to see a successful Shackle? Nope, but Robert will just run for his life.
Denied.
Alright. And Nisha is mid. Chronosphere is available. Now, it shouldn't be said that ATN are completely out of this game. A really good Chronosphere, along with the Sandy's Eclipse, will be more than enough to turn the tides on AF. Let's take a look at the big items. Still no Battle Fury quite yet coming out of Madara, 18 minutes in. Mana Boots on the Earth Spirit. Level 3 Necrobook coming out on Skylark on Finem. Meanwhile, we do have the Aether Lens on Robert G. That's going to increase the range. Can't play quite as to the book with that. Yeah, this that buyback really hurt that Gyrocopter. So here they go back onto the tier 3 teleport response coming out of Nisha, but they're going to play this very conservatively. AF very careful with what they're doing. Focus fire on this tier 3. There will be the Searing Chains coming out. Is this going to be... Oh, Skylark. He's looking for the opening. But it doesn't look like AF are willing to commit. They don't really need to force the issue. They're happy to have dismantled this tier 3. They also have not taken this tier 1 mid yet. So it looks like that's what the next plan is going to be. They did force out the TPs. There will be a smoke coming out of ATN. Supreme leading the charge. It ends up breaking, but... Oh, they do not... They wonder if Exotic Deer... Oh, Aegis will be reclaimed. Fully regenerating the Windrunner back up to full health. And at this point, I think we're just going to see a little bit more...
What have we here?
Just farming. A little bit more of a calm game, but we'll see whether or not SSA wants to force this issue. Oh, Faceless Void on his tail. SSA going to make a run for it. And actually, yeah, we should take a look at the builds here. So yeah, Abaddon, nothing in his passive. Has opted to be maxing his heal and Apothic Shield. I think at this point, that I really do like the passive, even if it was just like one value point in it. But the biggest problem is that they haven't really been fighting all that effectively. I think the aTTaX shield is really there just to try to remove some of the stuns. Oh no, Exotic Deer. He's going to be Fiend's Grip. There will be a Searing Chains. Will he be able to escape? And pretty convincingly the answer is no. We have Nisha. Oh, over here. Skylark trying to take out Supreme. aTTaX shield comes out. Atos gonna try to ruin things. Windrunner ready to go in. And there's the Shackle. Tries to time it to Supreme. Abaddon just doing his very best to keep Supreme alive. And there's the Focus Fire. Trying to use these Sandy's Eclipse. Is it going to be enough? There's the Abaddon ulti used. Borrowed time. About to expire. And now right click down. AF just on top of them. And now this tier 2 with the Siege creep. Ready to be Focus Fired down by the Wind Ranger. 12 seconds left on that ulti. They're going to be able to force the issue on these tier 3s if they really want to. Now let's take a look at the buybacks. Do we have anyone on the Radiant able to buy back? Yes, Faceless Void. Yes, Supreme. But that's about it. Are we going to see that high ground push? And nope, looks like we are going to try to secure these racks. I mean, this is a very hard situation for ATN to deal with. These boots of travel on Madara have really worked out. He's been able to be present in every single one of these team fights. Now there's a Focus Fire coming out on the melees. Earth Spike being used up. They do end up pinging it out, and they're trying to go that Blink Dagger on the Wind Ranger. Pretty useful. You can tell Ultra Attack. There's the Chrono. It hits on 3. He gets the time dilation off. Is there going to really be anything that Madara can do? There's the call down. SSA going to be the focus of Supreme. They are doing a really great job of the high ground defense, but there will be a counter initiation. Finger of Death does end up picking up, but goodbye to Exotic Deer. Everyone's just falling. It's going to be 4. Only the Abaddon is left. It's going to be GG coming out of Nisha and the rest of ATN. What a convincing win by Finem. And that's going to be game number 2, ladies and gentlemen, for the first one of the grand finals. Alright, so ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back with some messages from our sponsors. And just so you guys know, give us a follow on Twitter at itsgameon.gg. I'd also like to give a shout out to our other sponsors, Dota 2 Lounge, and of course, Azubu. Thank you so much, Azubu, for hosting us. So we'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen, with game number 2 between Finem and aTTaX.